We're joined today by Lisa Austin, Manager, Knowledge and Information Management, and Georgette Suggs, Document Management Specialist of KM from Williams and Bush Brothers and Company. We're going to talk about you guys' fantastic presentation, Unwritten Rules That Make or Break Your KM Program. Lisa, I'm going to start with you. Why do unwritten rules in an organization have so much impact on the success of KM?
Well, the unwritten rules are what really drives the behaviors within an organization. So who are the motivators? Who are the people, or what are the motivators? What is it that people are supposed to try to achieve within an organization? Who are the enablers? Who are the gatekeepers? Who's going to tell you you get your bonus, and who's going to tell you you're not getting your bonus? We behave in ways that enable those things. So the unwritten rules really are underneath the actual behaviors that people exhibit. So if you want to change those behaviors, you need to change the unwritten rules. Some unwritten rules make you share knowledge. Some unwritten rules make you not want to share knowledge.
This question is for both of you, Georgette. I'll start with you. In your experience, are there certain things someone can do to identify important unwritten rules an organization might have?
They can play this game. People can play games. I think honestly, to be truthful, it doesn't have to be this game. It can be any games. Yeah. Any games that involve teams. Because what happens is as teams are playing the game and you as a knowledge leader or whatever you are helping to facilitate the game, you can see how people are interacting, and that will help you as a facilitator start to identify the unwritten rules. And then as a facilitator, it's your job to try and bring those out, to coax them out a little bit and get people to start talking about them. And what better way to talk about things that are uncomfortable than to joke about them or to play with them, makes it easy.
And Lisa, is that sort of, as they're playing the game, sort of things that they don't expect or didn't realize sort of start to bubble up to the surface?
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that, yes, it's a little bit of a contrived environment that, you say game and people automatically want to compete. Yet, what we tell people in the game, we're here to work together. We're here to maximize the return on investment. Those are things that organizations always say, yet now the unwritten rules can prevent that from really happening.
Yeah, and, Georgette, obviously people follow leaders. But can you explain why leaders sometimes they dampen knowledge sharing based on unwritten rules?
What I have seen, and I find it's very interesting, I think a lot of times leaders dampen knowledge sharing unintentionally. I have seen leaders, they recognize the position they're in. They recognize that if I make a comment about something, people are going to take that very seriously, and they recognize that people act on what they say. So I've seen very often where leaders are very careful about what they say. That carefulness can cause an unwritten rule that they're not even intending to happen. It's just that people interpret what they're saying. So I think one of my roles, again, as a facilitator or knowledge leader, is to go to those leaders and say, hey, do you realize that whenever you said that, you could have led people to believe this? And maybe to even give them tools that could help them show that's not what I meant. I really do want you sharing, and to give them even opportunities or tools, ways that they can get people to share or share themselves and lead by example. But I think the biggest thing is the unintentional creation of unwritten rules, and somebody's just going to have to kind of let them know.
Lisa, how much of the unwritten rules has to do with a leader's personality?
I'm not sure it's necessarily their personality. I think it is what behaviors they've been rewarded for as a leader throughout their career. Because leaders will revert to whatever has been successful previously, right? If they were successful by heroism, then the individual performer and the rewarding of people who are putting out all the fires, who are, as in the presentation or in the review at the end, the individual described how one person reused information to create a great new way of doing things. The other person ended up doing it all on their own. Which one was rewarded? Well, that leader rewarded the heroism. So to that leader, that heroism kind of individual performance is what they value, because that's how they've grown up within their organization to value it. We need to change that assumptions about what really makes a difference for an organization.
Now I want to talk about the game. I'm really excited to get into it a little bit. What was the spark that helped you sort of create this game?
Well, I have been doing team building games for years. And one of the games that I have done is very similar to what this was. I had always felt that collaboration was a huge benefit to that particular, in that game. It really brought out collaboration. And with this game, what we decided was I wanted to get something in place that we could use whenever we needed to, and it was more open source than proprietary. And so I basically worked with my team and we brainstormed a different venue, a different context. We took our knowledge about knowledge management approaches and integrated it into the game, and you know, it was pretty easy.
And Georgette, I'll ask you, can you explain the concept of the game and talk a little bit about the results that you've had?
Lisa's created the game. She brought the game to me, so I wasn't involved in the development of it or anything. But you can use it for anything. You could use it for continuous improvement, for change management, for knowledge management, whatever you want to use it for, because it's all really there. It's built in. But the value that I got out of it was just being able to read people, you know, to see how people play. I mean, it's outrageous what you get out of it.
Where does it get, where in your experience has it gotten maximum efficiency in the game, or results, where it really works well?
I would say it really works well within an organization that is just starting out their KM journey, because most of the concepts, there hasn't been anything that is concrete for them to latch onto. It's all abstract. What's the lessons learned? How do you integrate lessons learned? What is learning before, during, and after? You know, what is expertise location all about? So what this does is really make it much more concrete about these concepts and to start talking about it. And that's where I have found it's been most successful, is when people are new to the concepts, new to knowledge management, knowledge sharing, collaboration, knowledge seeking, that it really starts everyone off on the same page, instead of having to hit certain, you know, groups one at a time.
And this is the final question for both of you, and I'll start with Georgette. What is the most important piece of advice you can give to someone in knowledge management thinking about using simulation games to get results in KM?
Go with the flow. Really, I mean, we create games, or we play games with people, or we work with people. It's not about what I need. It's about what they need. So what I need to do as a facilitator or as a leader or anything, I need to go where they need to go, not where I need to go. So as we're playing this game, we've got to relax enough to allow them to explore their boundaries and to push things. So we got to be really flexible. and just go wherever our the people that we're working with lead us.
Yeah. And I would say that, you know, it does not matter which simulation, which game. The whole key is creating a safe environment where people can talk about what's going on within their organizations. You know, we're going to be doing the Knowledge Cafe later, right? The Collaboration Cafe. That is a capability that you can use to start creating that safe environment to have the conversations. What the game does, the difference of a simulation is giving people a more concrete, experiential action experience that is more fruitful to the conversation.
Thank you for joining us, guys.
Thank you.